"Marry me or I'll find someone else," said the CEO, but she didn't expect the janitor to say this. The rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of Sterling Associates as Victoria Sterling stood in her corner office, her heart pounding with a desperation she'd never felt before. At 35, she had built an empire from nothing, turning a small consulting firm into a multi-million-dollar corporation that dominated the East Coast. But tonight, as she stared at her reflection in the dark glass, she saw something that terrified her more than any hostile takeover or market crash: loneliness. Her hands trembled as she dialed James Patterson's number, her on-and-off boyfriend of 3 years, the same James who had cancelled their dinner plans again tonight for another important client meeting, the same James who seemed more interested in her bank account than her dreams, her fears, or the way she still cried watching old movies when she thought no one was looking. "James, we need to talk," she said when he finally answered, his voice distant and distracted. "I'm tired of this back and forth. I'm 35 years old, and I want a family. I want someone who chooses me every day, not just when it's convenient." There was a pause, the sound of typing in the background. "Vic, you know I care about you, but marriage, kids, I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. Maybe you should think about what really matters here." The words hit her like a physical blow. "What really matters, James? I'm giving you an ultimatum. Marry me, or I'll find someone else, someone who actually wants to build a life with me." His laugh was cold, calculating. "Good luck with that, Victoria. You think there's a line of men waiting to deal with your schedule, your demands, your need to control everything? Face reality: you're not getting any younger, and your options aren't exactly endless." The line went dead. Victoria stared at her phone, James's cruel words echoing in the empty office. She had never felt more alone, more defeated. Everything she'd worked for, everything she'd accomplished, felt meaningless in that moment. A soft knock interrupted her spiraling thoughts. "Miss Sterling, I'm sorry to bother you, but I noticed your light was still on." She turned to see Miguel Santos, the evening janitor, standing hesitantly in her doorway. His weathered hands gripped his cleaning cart, and his kind brown eyes showed genuine concern. In the 2 years he'd worked here, they'd exchanged pleasantries, but she'd never really seen him or really looked at him until now. "Miguel, I'm fine. Just working late." She wiped her eyes quickly, trying to compose herself. But Miguel didn't leave. Instead, he stepped into the office, his presence somehow filling the vast space with warmth. "Miss Sterling, forgive me for saying so, but you don't look fine. My abuela always said that sometimes we need to sit with our sadness before we can find our way through it." Something in his gentle tone broke through her defenses. The tears she'd been holding back spilled over. I thought I had everything figured out. I built this company. I have more money than I know what to do with, but I can't even get the man I love to want to marry me." "What does that say about me?" Miguel set down his cleaning supplies and moved closer, his movements careful and respectful. "May I sit?" When she nodded, he settled into the chair across from her desk. "You know, Miss Sterling, I've been cleaning offices for 23 years. I've seen a lot of powerful people, successful people. But I've learned that success and happiness, they don't always walk hand in hand." "You don't understand," Victoria said, her voice breaking. "He told me I should be grateful for what I have, that no one else would want someone like me, too demanding, too controlling, too much." Miguel's expression darkened with quiet anger. "That man, he doesn't deserve even 1 minute of your tears. A real man, a good man, he doesn't make the woman he loves feel small. He lifts her up." Victoria looked at him through her tears, really seeing him for the first time. His uniform was clean but worn, his hands calloused from years of honest work. There was a strength in his posture, a dignity that had nothing to do with bank accounts or corner offices. "Tell me about your family, Miguel," she found herself asking. His face lit up with a smile that transformed his entire appearance. "I have 4 children. My oldest, Sophia, she just started her 2nd year at Columbia pre-med. My son Carlos, he's studying engineering at State. The twins, Maria and Anna, they're seniors in high school, both with full scholarships lined up." "How do you do it? 4 kids in college or heading there?" On a janitor's salary, Miguel's smile never wavered. I work 3 jobs, but it's not work when you're doing it for love. I clean offices at night, I do landscaping on weekends, and I drive for a delivery service in the mornings. My wife Rosa, she works double shifts at the hospital as a nurse's aide. We don't have much, but we have each other, and we have purpose. Victoria felt ashamed of her self-pity. I complain about not being able to find love, and you're showing me what real love looks like every day. Miss Sterling, can I tell you something? Miguel leaned forward, his voice gentle but firm. Love isn't about finding someone who tolerates your success. Love is finding someone who celebrates it, who stands beside you and makes you want to be better, not smaller. But James is right about one thing I'm demanding. I do want control. I've built my whole life around being strong and independent, and that's beautiful, Miguel said without hesitation. My Rosa, she's the strongest woman I know. She speaks 3 languages. She can suture a wound and balance our family's budget while helping the kids with calculus homework. She's not less because she's powerful as she's more. The right man doesn't want you to dim your light, Miss Sterling. He wants to shine alongside you. Victoria stared at this janitor who she'd barely noticed for 2 years, who was showing her more respect and understanding than James ever had. Miguel, can I ask you something personal? If Rosa gave you an ultimatum like I gave James, what would you say? Without missing a beat, Miguel replied, I'd say, where do I sign? But Miss Sterling, that's because I chose Rosa the moment I met her. Every day since, I choose her again. A man who needs an ultimatum to choose you has already given you his answer. The truth hit her like lightning. He never chose me, did he? No, Mija. And that says everything about him and nothing about you. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, the rain still pattering against the windows. Finally, Victoria asked, what would you do in my position? Miguel smiled, the same gentle expression he'd worn throughout their conversation. I'd remember that the right person will see your heart before they see your bank account. I'd remember that love isn't about compromising who you are, it's about finding someone who loves exactly who you are. And I'd remember that sometimes the best thing we can do is let go of what's wrong to make room for what's right. Even if I end up alone, Miss Sterling, you're not alone now, are you? You have employees who respect you, a business that changes lives, and a heart big enough to care about a janitor's opinion. Being alone and being lonely, they're not the same thing. Victoria felt something shift inside her chest, like a weight being lifted. Miguel, I owe you an apology. For what? For not seeing you sooner. For not recognizing the wisdom and kindness you've been showing everyone in this building. For thinking that success was only measured by titles and salaries. Miguel stood up, collecting his cleaning supplies. Miss Sterling, you see me now. That's what matters. As he reached the door, Victoria called out, Miguel, your children are lucky to have you. And Rosa. She chose well. He turned back with that transformative smile. Just like someone will choose well when they choose you, Miss Sterling. But next time, make sure you're choosing them too. After he left, Victoria sat alone in her office, but the loneliness was gone. She picked up her phone and blocked James's number without a second thought. Then she opened her laptop and began typing an email to her HR department about implementing a scholarship program for employees' children. Some choices, she realized, were about more than love you. They were about recognizing the love that already surrounded you and being worthy of it. Miguel had shown her that strength wasn't about building walls, it was about knowing when to let them down for the right reasons, for the right people. The rain had stopped, and through her windows, Victoria could see the first hints of dawn breaking over the city. Tomorrow would bring new possibilities, new chances to choose and be chosen, and for the first time in years, that thought filled her not with desperation, but with hope.